Hello everybody, welcome to this first lecture on fundamentals of cellular system. My name is S.B. Bhosle and I am a lecturer in Government Polytechnic Yavatmal in Electronics and Telecommunication Department. So this is the outline of this lecture. So first of all we'll see design considerations of communication system, then the mobile communication before cellular, then cellular concept, frequency reuse and cell structure. Now let's first of all discuss what are the design considerations in any communication system. So the three parameters are of prime importance when it comes to communication system. Very first parameter is bandwidth, both signal and channel bandwidth. So while designing a communication system, mostly we have to consider the signal bandwidth, and channel bandwidth is in general fixed. We don't have any control over channel bandwidth, but we have to design a signal such that signal can pass through the channel and it is not distorted or it is least affected by noise. So these are all the considerations regarding bandwidth. Then there is a transmit power that we have to take care of. Transmit power in a way has certain restrictions on in the communication system, because we cannot transmit lot of power, specifically in mobile devices. Transmitting more power will result in quick draining of the battery, and also it may result in interference. At the same time, we cannot afford to transmit less amount of power, or we cannot afford to reduce the power, because it will affect the, or it will degrade the quality of signal. So we have to strike a balance somewhere, and that's why this transmit power is very important parameter in designing. And then comes system complexity, though it's not very or it does not seem very important parameter, but it in fact plays major role in designing a system. So system complexity is desired to be as less or as minimum as possible. So let's begin with mobile communication systems now. So before cellular, the objective of mobile communication system was to have each fixed base station cover the largest area possible. So if this is a base station, the larger the area covered by base station, it was better. So that was the design objective of the communication system, and this was achieved by using antennas which were mounted on very high towers and by transmitting maximum affordable power. So that was the case before cellular. We'll see in a short while what is base station. Now the basic idea behind cellular concept is to replace the single high power transmitter which was existing before cellular concept with many low power transmitters like this. So these low power transmitters will cover the same area, but they'll be more in number as opposed to the single transmitter which was transmitting a very high power. Well, let's come to the concept of cell. So cell is nothing but a small geographical area covered by a base station. Covered I mean it is providing the service to that particular area. So that area is called cell. For example, if this is a base station here, so and this is the random shape where it provides the coverage, so this particular area is called the cell. Now let's come to base station. So base station is nothing but it's a transmitter and receiver system that provides wireless interface to mobiles around it. So it basically provides the wireless connectivity to all the mobiles around it within the coverage area. So that is basically a base station. It's a transmitter, receiver and system, and also it performs some related functions. So you will study base station in detail in further chapters. Now what base station does is, or what is done here is, in particular in cellular communication, is portion of total number of channels which are available to service provider are given to every base station. So for example, I have shown different base stations with coverage area of different colors. So it means they are given different channels. So here we have shown 4 different base stations, and they have given different set of channels which were available or which are available with the service provider. Now what is done is that nearby base stations are assigned different groups of channels, so that all available channels are assigned to a relatively small number of neighboring base stations, and interference is avoided, or there is no interference between base stations. So this is how different groups of channels are assigned to base stations. Now let's see what cellular concept is. In cellular, the available channels are distributed throughout geographical region. So for example, if we consider this particular cell, so same channels are used here, 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 then here and here. So we have used the same set of channels at number of different places, and they may be reused many times as necessary, as long as there is no interference among them. So they are placed far apart from each other so that there is no interference among them. Then as the demand increases, so the base stations, number of base stations may increase, but in this case we have to take care that the corresponding transmit power must be decreased. So because the number of mobiles have increased in this particular area, what we have to do is we have to increase the number of base stations, and we have to balance, or we have to offload the mobile load on number of base stations. Now this fundamental principle of it enables fixed number of channels to serve an arbitrarily large number of subscribers by just reusing the channels throughout the coverage region, and it is the foundation of modern wireless communication system. So we don't need to do any major changes in the system. We just have to use the same number of channels in very large for serving the large subscribers, and this is possible because of the frequency reuse, or because of the cellular nature of the communication system. So the base stations in adjacent cells, they are assigned channel groups which contain completely different channels than neighboring cells. So for example, if we consider this particular region, so here every cell is using different set of channels. So we have shown every set of channels by one letter, and every cell in this particular neighborhood is using different set of channels, and that's how it is, we are making sure that there is no interference among them. And base station antennas, they are designed in a way to achieve the desired coverage within a particular cell, and also they are designed so that there is no interference among the cells using the same set of channels. For example, this cell and this cell, they are using same set of channels. The antennas are designed so that the coverages are not large enough to interfere with each other, but they are large enough to serve that particular cell. The same group of channels, they can be used to cover different cells if they are separated by large enough distance. That's what we covered. And coverage area has to be limited within a cell. That is taken care of by designing proper antennas. As I mentioned, cells labeled with the same letters use the same group of channels, and you would have noticed that we are using the hexagonal shape to denote each cell, and this is because it is conceptual and universally accepted shape excuse me, and it permits easy and manageable analysis of cellular system. So that is the reason why we go for hexagonal shape. In a short while we'll see why hexagonal and why not any other shape. Let's come to something called footprint. The footprint is actual radio coverage of a cell. So unlike the hexagonal shape that we use for analysis, actual area covered by a base station is not hexagonal, or not, it does not have any regular shape. It is some random shape. It is basically amorphous in nature, and So this is where I have shown some random shape. Amorphous in nature meaning that near the tower we have maximum power, received power. Little further from tower the power reduces, and far away from the tower of base station power still reduces. So that's what is meant by amorphous nature of the radio coverage or cell, and it is actual coverage or actual footprint is very irregular in shape or random in shape. It again depends upon the different geographical structures around the base stations, like buildings, hilly terrains and all. But regular shape is needed for systematic design, and that we'll see. Now, considering cell shape, let's see why we don't consider circular shapes for analysis and design. So major reason is there are overlaps and gaps when we consider circular region. So for example, if you consider these cells, you can see overlaps, and if we consider some region like this, so you can see some gaps also there. So circular cells, they do not fit in an area without overlaps and gaps, and that's why it becomes a little bit difficult to analyze the communication system or cellular system using circular shapes. That's why we don't prefer circular shapes. Now, why hexagon? So geometric shapes covering an entire region without overlap with equal area. There are three possible such shapes. One is square, then there is equilateral triangle, and then there is hexagon. So let's see what is so special about hexagon. So before that, let's consider some points. So a cell must be designed to serve the weakest mobile, which is located in general at the edge within a footprint or within a cell. So weakest mobile also should be served by the base station, and that is what is the edge mobiles should be provided the coverage. And for a given distance between center of the polygon and its farthest perimeter point, hexagon has the largest area of the three. So if you consider this particular shape, or if you consider this circle, if there is a mobile here or at this place, so there is the square is not considering that particular mobile. Even in case of triangle, if there is a mobile here, it is not taking into account that particular mobile. So it is very tough to analyze this kind of communication system. But in case of hexagon, it is considering most of the possible locations of mobiles except certain very few possibilities. So it is approximating the circle by very small margin. So you see it closely approximates circular radiation pattern of omnidirectional antenna, and only a few number of hexagons can cover very large geographic areas as opposed to the square and triangle, equilateral triangle. So that's why we prefer hexagon. And why not regular polygons of size more than 6? This is because again we have to maintain a balance between complexity and accuracy. So hexagon provides balance between accuracy and complexity, because if we use say octagon having 8 sides, that is more accurate than hexagon, but again the complexity of analysis and complexity mathematical analysis increases, so that's why we prefer hexagon. Now let's see what is where base stations are located. So base stations are basically located in there are two possibilities for location of base station. One is at the center of the cell, and second is at the edge of three cells. So this is called center excited cells, and this is called edge excited cells. And in center excited cells we use omnidirectional antennas, and in edge excited cells sectored directional antennas are used. So that is all about location of base station, and that's all about this particular lecture, and thank you for watching. and see you in the next lecture.